Hi, I'm Andy Webb. Welcome to my channel. This video is a little bit different to normal because I'm going to be talking about business money rather than personal money. Okay, and specifically, I'm going to talk about business credit cards. Do you need one? Are they good for you? What are the pros and cons of getting one? And if you are going to get one, which one should you go for? Now, let's start off looking at the pros and the cons of business credit cards. Now, you might think they're exactly the same as personal credit cards, and a lot of the stuff will be the same, but there are a few distinctions that is important that you know about. Now, let's talk about maybe the bad things first of all, the thing you normally associate, the negative things with a personal credit card, and that is the cost. They can be expensive ways to borrow money. For personal credit cards, I'm often saying to people, look, if you do not have the money to buy this thing, and it's not an essential, it's not kind of like an emergency repair to your car so you can drive it and still get to work and earn some money. If it's something you don't really need, then don't use them. They are not good things for you. If you don't have the money available, if you aren't confident that you can clear that balance that you owe completely every single month, so you avoid getting charged interest, they should be avoided. They are not for you, okay? On the whole, that's what I would say to people. Few exceptions here or there, but most people, they're not good things if you don't have the cash flow to afford things. And with a business, that does still apply, obviously, but things are a little bit different. Now, you'll know this if you run your own business, that it's not the same as having a salary where the same amount of money comes in on the same date every month, which helps you budget, helps you buy things. You could have a month, 2 months, 3 months where nothing comes in. Doesn't mean you aren't making sales. It's just the way the system works. And it's frustrating, isn't it? You know, you've invoiced someone, but they've still not paid you. So that can make cash flow pretty tight, particularly over this year as well, when we've seen so many businesses really struggle. You might think, right, this money's coming, it's around the corner, but I don't have it right now. And you might be seeing a credit card as the thing that will get you through to the next month when things will change. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, right? We're in so much uncertainty right now. What I would say, if that is a motivation for getting that credit card, have a look and see if there are other ways to get money. Could be a cheap loan, it could be a free loan, a 0% loan, which is obviously a lot better than a credit card, which will charge you interest. It could be a grant. It could be that you can sell some stuff or rearrange things, whatever it might be, to get more money in the business in that short term. If you're confident that this is the way that you only need a small amount, it's not about getting into huge amounts of debt, it's just a little bit of money to get stuff in so you can, make what you make to sell it, whatever it might be. Then try as much as you can to clear what you owe every single month. Sometimes it's longer. Sometimes they give you 45 days, 60 days before the interest is charged. Make sure you know exactly what that interest is going to be and how long you've got to make the payment before it's applied to your account. Because obviously, as soon as you're getting interest added on, it's costing you money. And any other benefits you might get from having a credit card are kind of generally wiped out. So that's the most important to talk about. When I go through cards later on, I'm not going to tell you the interest rates. I'll let you look at that because fundamentally, I'm not a fan of people using credit cards if they're going to pay any interest. But again, I do understand with businesses, it is different to personal spending, and that cash flow can be a little bit complicated. So you might, okay, so that's one reason to think about them. It's not cut and dried there. I can't say it's right or wrong, but you might want a credit card just to help you with the cash flow. You might be thinking about a credit card because of something like Section 75 protection. Again, talk about this a huge amount. This is a great thing that you get. When you as a person, an individual, you are spending money. If you buy something that costs more than £100, even if you only put a quid of that on the credit card, it means the credit card company is equally liable for anything that goes wrong. So that it doesn't arrive or it breaks or whatever it might be, you've got that extra consumer protection, which is brilliant. So with your personal spending, absolutely, that's a reason to use a credit card as long as you can manage it. Again, it's not so cut and dry, not so clear cut when it comes to business spending, because it depends how your business is set up. Now, if you run a business already, if you've got your business, you'll know this. So I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail, but principally there are two main ways your business is going to be set up. You could be what's called a sole trader, or you could be a limited company. Yes, there's other options, but for most of us who are watching this, who run our own business, they're the two ways we might be set up. Now, a sole trader basically means you are properly self-employed. There is no company. You are the company. Everything is wrapped up. Your business finances and your personal finances are exactly the same. If you're a limited company, the company itself is a separate entity. It belongs on its own. Its finances are distinct from yours. So a good example here is if you were to get into debt and you owed money, a sole trader, that money could come from your personal things. They could, if they really wanted to, repossess your house or something like that. Limited company is completely separate. If the company went bust, your personal finances, your own individual money that you own as a person is separate. So they're protected. So that's kind of where that distinction goes on there. When it comes to Section 75 protection, only those who are essentially the sole traders will get that protection. They can make that claim because they're individuals, they're still consumers. If you're a limited company and the card therefore is through the company, not you, you won't get that protection. So that's worth bearing in mind. Depending how you're set up, you might not be able to get that additional extra protection, let's say, for the purchases you make that cost more than £100. Worth bearing that one in mind. Now, the other big reason you might want a credit card for your business are cashback and rewards. Now, in my personal life, as I talk about all the time, I do all my spending on cashback credit cards. 99.9% of times I'm able to use a card to earn some money back when I spend. Stuff I'm going to buy anyway. I'm going to spend this money normally. I'm not spending any extra money to get this, so it's a nice little bit of extra cash that's coming in. The times I don't use it is because I've got a better offer on a debit card or something like that. You can get cashback and rewards with business credit cards too. And I'll take you through some of those best ones in a moment. Now, there are a few things you want to bear in mind here when you're working out whether it's going to be worth it. And the main thing here is the annual fee. All of them will come with that charge. So you want to make sure that the cashback that you earn at least covers that fee. Otherwise, it's pointless. There's no point having this business credit card to earn cashback if you're not going to make that at least that minimum amount. And it really depends on what your business is. For me, I have very low outgoings. Most of the time I'm here in my office, in my studio, writing, making videos, whatever it might be. I do events occasionally. There are other expenses that come from that, but I would not be spending as much as, say, a builder who's going to get supplies in all the time for the things they're doing. So really, it depends what type of business you have, whether you're going to spend enough to cover that. So I'll give you an example. So let's say you're earning 0.5% cashback, and let's say the fee is £50. Well, you need to be spending at least 10 grand on that card to cover that fee. If 10 grand sounds like too much, well, then it's not for you. There are obviously some welcome bonuses, and I'll talk about them in a moment, which can make it a little bit different in that first year. But that's fundamentally something else you need to think about. How much will you spend on this card in a year, and will that earn you enough cash back to cover the fee? A couple of extra things to think about. One of them are supplementary cards. I think these can be quite useful when it comes to business credit cards. Essentially what happens here, you have the card, you're the account holder, or the business at least is the account holder, but you can get additional cards for your employees. So let's say you've got 5 employees who regularly spend for your business. Now, right now, you might have a single card that you give to them and they go and spend on it, and there's one card for everyone. Or it might be they spend on their own personal cards and claim it back as an expense. With a supplementary card, it wipes all of that out and makes the admin so much easier. For a start, when they spend on that card, the bill comes through to you, so you pay it in one go. There's none of that expenses being paid back and forth. But also, you can see who spent what. So it makes it a lot easier to track that spending rather than just generally the card gets shared around the office for people to spend on. You know exactly that that person spent that amount at that place on that date. So really, could be really useful for you if you've got employees and they're spending from the business as well. Just obviously make sure if you're giving a supplementary card to someone that they understand exactly why they've got it, what they're meant to use it for, and that you do trust them not to go and run up expenses that they shouldn't be. So there you go, the pros and cons of business credit cards. You're going to know exactly how they're going to apply to you and your business, whether it makes sense for you to be applying for one. If it does, well, let's have a look at some of those best cards out there. Now, as you get with personal credit cards, the best ones in terms of rewards, I think, tend to be American Express, but not everywhere will take Amex. And actually, with the cards I'm going to take you through in a moment, some of these MasterCards might actually give you a higher cashback rate. So again, I'll take them through my personal picks, but you might find that they work better for you depending on your situation. Now, the first one, which I think will get you the most money in terms of rewards, is the American Express Gold Business Credit Card. This one gives you 0.5% cash back for every pound that you spend. So it's not the best one, but it's not too bad. It also comes with a £125 annual fee, which is quite a lot. However, that first year it's wiped out. You don't pay it at all. So I'm thinking about this card really as a 1 year thing. You get it for that first year and then you scrap it after that 12 months. And the reason you might want to go for it over all the others is because of the welcome bonus. Much like you get with personal Amex cards, this one will give you a bonus of equivalent of £100 when you spend £3,000 in the first 3 months. You get it in the form of Amex membership rewards, which you can transfer for gift cards, Avios points, pay off your bill. They have a slightly different value depending on how you use them, but roughly 100 quid is a good rule of thumb. That's what that would be worth. You have to spend that full £3,000 in that 3 months. You spend £1 less, you will not get that bonus. But essentially, if you're going to spend £3,000 in 3 months for your business on a credit card, it will not charge you anything to do it and you will make 100 quid. And then you'll keep earning after that. That's why it's my #1 pick. Now, if you're an American Express fan, you'll know that there's a rule that says you can't have a welcome bonus for a new card unless you've not had an Amex in your name for 2 years. Only 6 months for the business card. So you could have had a personal American Express card. As long as you've not had a card in your name for 6 months, you can get this and get that welcome bonus. So that's worth bearing in mind. There are a couple more Amexes to tell you about, which might be useful if you've already had that welcome bonus. Both of them are in partnership with Amazon. So this first one is the Amazon Prime Business American Express credit card. As the name suggests, this is only for people who have Amazon Prime Business, which is separate to your own personal Amazon Prime. This costs you £80 a year plus VAT. Although when you first apply, they'll wipe that out. So you get that first year of Amazon Prime Business for free. There's also an annual fee of 50 quid, but that is free in the first year. And if you spend at least £8,000 on the card every year, it's free in subsequent years. So it is potentially a free card if you are going to be spending a decent amount of money. The reason I say this one is worth looking at if you shop a lot at Amazon is because you will get 2% cash back on Amazon purchases for that first 12 grand you spend at Amazon. After that, it drops down to 1%. Even so, as I say, if you shop a lot at Amazon, you can spend at least £8,000, that fee disappears. Again, that first year, you get that Prime membership, Business Prime membership for free as well. If you pay for that anyway, this is an expense that is not an additional expense, then you are going to be making more money than you are on any of the other cards. But if you don't shop on Amazon that often, well, you get a 0.5% that you get elsewhere. But I wouldn't look at it. This is really only for people who are hardcore Amazon spenders for their business. Otherwise, drop it. The other Amazon American Express business credit card doesn't require Prime at all. It comes with a £50 annual fee as well, and that does not disappear in the first year. It does not disappear no matter what you spend. So you're committed to spending that 50 quid every year. The welcome bonus is a £25 Amazon voucher, so nothing compared to the value of the others. So obviously, in return for that, you're spending more, but you're also going to get a lower rate of cashback. It's just 1.5% at Amazon, again, on that first 12 grand that you spend, then it drops to 1%. So again, if you're shopping at Amazon on a regular basis and you're going to spend enough to justify that annual fee, then it's worth looking at 0.5% elsewhere. So I don't think it's a good option there. Of course, if you do want to make sure you've got an Amex card and you've had that gold and you don't want to spend that £125, then that is obviously a lower fee that you can keep having one. But again, I keep saying this, but make sure that you're going to spend enough money to justify that fee in terms of the return on cashback. Now, not everywhere takes American Express, does it? And you might even find that your main suppliers don't take Amex, in which case you want to be looking at a MasterCard. And there are two pretty decent options here, actually, and they both pay 1%. So that is a higher cashback you get with all the Amexes on the non-Amazon spend, at least. The reason they're lower down than that Business Gold, which is my top pick, is because that fees that come into play and that bonus reward that you get with that Amex Gold makes it the top pick. After that first year, these actually could be better options for you. Now, the first of these is the Capital on Tap Rewards credit card. This gives you 1% back on all your purchases, so decent rate, but it comes with a £99 annual fee. So you've got to spend nearly 10 grand before you actually start earning any money. Now, this does have a bonus reward at the start of the year. If you spend 5 grand in 3 months, then you'll get £100 worth of points. So that will potentially knock out your fee that you're spending. Again, it's just in that first year. You need to look at how much you're spending and who you're spending money with to work out whether this will be better than that Amex Gold rewards card. But I think the Amex one still has that edge. If that's still too much for you, you don't think you're going to justify the fee, check out the Santander Business Credit Card. £30 a year, 1% cash back. That means if you spend at least £3,000 over 12 months, then you're going to start earning cash back. Anything above that, you'll wipe out that fee. Now, both of these cards, the Capital on Tap Rewards and the Santander Business Credit Card, are fee-free overseas, which is a nice little extra to have, particularly useful if you spend a lot of money, even if you don't go abroad. If you're buying orders to get shipped over here, that'll save you some cash, potentially a decent amount of cash in terms of those transfer fees. So there you go, 5 business cashback credit cards that you might want to consider. But before we end, I want to give you a couple of alternatives that actually might be better. First of all, if you've got a PayPal business account, you can apply for a PayPal debit card, and that will give you 0.5% cashback. That's what I've got. That's what I use. That's why I've not bothered with any of these different credit cards so far. I said my expenses aren't that high. This just gives me money, no annual fee, and I earn a little bit of cash every month for the spending that I do. Obviously, if you're a higher spender, then yes, absolutely, those welcome bonuses and the higher rates of cashback you can get with some of those cards could be well worth it. But if you're on the low end and you're not so comfortable with credit cards, check out that PayPal business debit card. You could also, particularly if you're a sole trader, just use a personal cashback credit card and claim the money back as expenses. You're going to get probably better offers. You'll get that Section 75 protection. You just need to make sure that you are comfortable in terms of managing it. And simply though, you make the purchase on that card and then transfer the money from your business current account to your personal account to cover that expense, which you then use to pay off the credit card. A little bit of extra admin, but it shouldn't be too difficult for you to manage. Just make sure you keep all those receipts, that you've got them there for the business. They know exactly what it is that you spent. And of course, easiest of the lot, if you've got plenty of money in your account, your business account, just use that debit card. You won't earn any rewards, but it does make everything a lot easier. That's it for this video. Hope you found it useful. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And I'd love it too if you can leave me a comment. Until next time, cheers. And here are a couple more videos you might find interesting.